What useless thing do you excel at? I've suffered from left leg sciatica since I was about 14. Turns out I had something wrong with one of the facets in my lower left-hand spine, since corrected with surgery. In high school, I discovered the only way to heal a flare-up was to have someone legit dig into my left butt cheek. Instant pain relief as the muscle calmed down and the nerve relaxed. Once in 11th grade, I had my girlfriend over to my parents' house and we went downstairs to watch a movie. While we obviously messed around down there all the time, this was actually very innocent. I had a flare-up and she offered to massage my ass cheek to help with the pain. I laid across her lap face down while she went to town. Felt so good to not have my leg be on fire. Anyway, Dad walks downstairs and in the dark, it appears my girlfriend was fisting my asshole. He immediately screams, "Whoa, OMG, I'm sorry," and runs upstairs. I had to go and explain what was up. He still thinks she was fisting me. I'm almost 30. Driving back to college from my grandma's house, holding my hand up to my ear to hear myself better as I practice for a choral performance a couple days from then. Cop pulls me over, is surprised to see that my phone is actually packed away in the back seat when he asks me to retrieve it. Asks me what the hell I was doing, and I get to awkwardly explain the thought process behind hearing yourself better when holding a hand to your ear. After a long stoic pause I panicked and couldn't think of anything else to say, so I went, "Just try it," and started singing on the side of a 2-lane highway in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. He let me off with a warning. Edit, I don't know why I got a warning. I like to think the guy was just as embarrassed as me in the moment, and tried to make that traffic stop mean something more than I pulled over a choir kid because I thought I saw a phone and distracted driving is bad. So he let me off with a warning. He does however come across as some sort of Footloose-esque villain though, and I agree it was a super weird interaction. Oh, God. This reminds me of my own story. I had a good female friend in high school named Natalie. I had a big crush on her and we ended up dating later, but at the time she was with someone else. Anyways, she came to my house to work on a project after school one day before my mom came home. She finished up and then had a date with her BF at the time, much to my lovesick chagrin, so she needed to change. I told her she could change in my room. She did and then left without incident. I was chilling downstairs when my mom got home and went upstairs. Why she did it, but for some reason she decided to look at my room and then I heard her say my full name, loudly and slowly, the way she only did when I was in serious trouble. Confused I ran upstairs to find my mom holding a lacy, see-through, blue thong. Apparently, it fell out of Natalie's bag when she was changing. The worst part was there was no way I could convince my very angry, traditionalist, of a mom that I didn't have sex with her when the reality was I very much wanted to do just that. I was in the Navy, stationed on an aircraft carrier. In the sleeping compartment I was assigned to, we had lockers called coffin lockers. Our beds were on top of the coffin lid, which we opened the way you would think to get to our stuff. These were stacked 3 high, with not quite enough room to sit up while in bed. We were on a deployment, so we brought whatever we couldn't live without for 6 to 12 months. One of the things I had was a rechargeable shaver. Well, apparently when I closed my locker the one night before going to bed, I jarred the battery cover, and the shaver intermittently vibrated against the wall of the locker. However, I didn't realize it at first. I heard the vibration and assumed that the girl assigned to the bunk under mine was going to town on herself with a vibrator. It went on and on, so then I started thinking that it wasn't her with her vibrator. I got out of bed and opened my locker, and when I saw the shaver, I realized what I had been hearing. At that moment, the girl laying in her bunk below mine opened the curtains and gave me a look. I showed her the shaver, and explained what happened. We both had a laugh when she said that she thought I had been going to town on myself with a vibrator. I was in a relationship with a girl who was paraplegic and needed a wheelchair. We made a cosplay of the Lamia from Monster Musume and we went into a part of the convention center that was empty to get a couple shots of the costume before going out into the crowd. At the time we didn't know it was technically off limits. So I helped her out of the wheelchair and lay her down so she can get comfortable, and I was wheeling her chair off to the side to be out of sight for the photos. I always fuck around too much and I was pretending to run away while taunting her. I did it all the time and it always made her laugh. I think I said something like, "Good luck trying to leave without your wheels," and before I could turn around to see where I was going I was getting wrestled to the ground by the convention center security. We cleared it up and slap on the wrist for me cause we were somewhere we weren't supposed to be. Security guards got in more trouble cause they're not supposed to touch people, but their hearts were in the right place since they thought I was robbing a girl who couldn't walk. I live in not the best neighborhood in Brooklyn, and a few weeks ago I was walking my girlfriend's small black three-legged dog late one night. There's a lot of guys that hang out by a busy corner drinking/smoking on their stoops. One of them went to take a leak by a building's trash area. He was facing the building with his back to me. So, as he was peeing, Pepper, the dog, decided she was going to be stubborn and just sit down. I kept trying to get her to get up so we could go home. As I was calling her and telling her, "Come on, let's go," the guy peeing locked eyes with me through a mirror that was in the trash pile. EY, yo, what the fuck? He couldn't see the dog I was talking to because she was 10 feet behind me in the shadows. He thought I was trying to fight him while I was watching him take a leak. Not at all the case. As he was zipping up and turned around, Pepper hopped up and trotted by and broke all the tension. He was like, "Oh shit, my bad. I didn't know you were talking to the dog." We laughed about it and carried on our separate ways. Theater kid in high school, had a scene where I had to tie a girl to a chair with a specific knot so it looked real but could be undone super quick by her just tugging something and it all coming undone. Anyway, I'm practicing the knot with her in the classroom during an off period so I could get it right. Cue gym teacher walking into the room to ask theater teacher something and seeing a girl gagged and getting tied to a keyar while we were the only two in the theater classroom. Fun times. Edit. Few quick things I thought I'd add after replying to comments. Scene was after her character gets kidnapped, so that's why we went to all the lengths to make her look like a hostage. She agreed to everything we did, even suggested the gag herself to be authentic. Take that how you will. Teacher who found us was super chill and knew most of the theater kids anyway and supported the theater anyway. He told us through the visible concern, "Please tell me this is for a scene cause I don't want to be there for this trip to the principal." I told him, "Yeah, just practicing to get the knot right, and another scene is on stage." He just nodded and went to find theater teacher. Again, I never thought to take her gag off to let her help me explain cause I'm an idiot. Later our theater teacher decided we'd have certain places to practice sensitive scenes. Similar thing happened to me, but it was because I had a terrible headache at work, and the work colleague who gave me the headache pills failed to mention they were effervescent and had to be put into water. Worse, I was just running from work to get on a 2-hour train trip to my parents' house. So I swallowed the pills on the train with a sip of water from my water bottle, and immediately felt something was very wrong. Now not only do I have a terrible headache, but my intestines are fizzing. My guts were not impressed, and soon my bowels began to cramp. This was the very last train for the day, so if I got off at a station to go to the toilet, I'd be stuck overnight in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. However, I knew at one station the train would stop and sit there for a few minutes while the guards changed over. But there was no way I would make it to the toilet carrying all my luggage and back again in time. So I risked running off the train, abandoning my luggage, for an express toilet bowel explosion. Fortunately the carriage was empty, because I don't know what people would think, seeing someone leaving a bunch of luggage on a train, and absolutely sprinting away like their life depended on it. They might have thought it was for another type of explosion. Fortunately I managed to get to the toilet, clean up, and get back on the train before it took off with my luggage. But it was still a pretty miserable train trip. I was helping out a female coworker by giving her a ride home from work every day. She was going through a divorce and was having car issues with her ex. We both worked the same hours and it was a short distance, so I was happy to help. Anyway, one day she told me that a mouse had gotten into her bedroom, which was over her garage. I told her it's probably a simple fix, like maybe the mouse came up through a heat vent or small hole somewhere near the floor. I go up to her bedroom and get down on all fours looking for somewhere that the mouse was getting in. I took off my glasses and set them on her nightstand next to her bed. I found a small opening by a plumbing pipe and jammed some paper in it to block it off. I got up and told her that was the only place I could see and that I thought it might be fixed. I then walked out to my truck and drove home. 2 hours later, I get a call from my friend who says that her soon-to-be ex had come over and found my glasses on the nightstand. She tried to explain to him that it was completely innocent and I was just looking for a hole where the mouse may have gotten in. He just looked at her and said, "Yeah, I am sure he was here looking for a hole." Senior year of high school, end of the year, and it's been balls hot for days and for some reason the AC isn't working. I have this pain in my taint and scrotum area and I'm complaining about it to my friend next to me in biology class. I really don't want to go tell the nurse or have a parent look at it, so I ask my friend if he'll take a peek. This was before everyone had a cell phone with a camera to do this sort of thing. He says, "Sure bro, I got you." The teacher tells us to split into pairs to quiz each other with flashcards for the final and then excuses himself to the bathroom. My friend and I pair up and head to the back of the lab where there's a walk-through office to the next lab and close the door behind us and move out of sight of the windowed doors, and I drop my shorts and undies and he squats down to take a look as I move my junk up and out of the way for a clear view. In walks the teacher because he wanted to grab his water bottle out of the office on his way back from the bathroom. I'm standing facing him and my friend is squatting in front of me, definitely looking like he's blowing me from the teacher's perspective. Teacher freezes and can't find words as I rush to cover myself and my friend turns around and blurts out, "I'm not sucking it, I'm just looking." Teacher backs out of the office and won't look either of us in the eye for the last week of school. Edited to add for everyone asking. It just turned out to be a boil. I managed to drain it later in the shower and it healed up fine. Senior year of high school, end of the year, and it's been balls hot for days and for some reason the AC isn't working. I have this pain in my taint and scrotum area and I'm complaining about it to my friend next to me in biology class. I really don't want to go tell the nurse or have a parent look at it, so I ask my friend if he'll take a peek. This was before everyone had a cell phone with a camera to do this sort of thing. He says, "Sure bro, I got you." The teacher tells us to split into pairs to quiz each other with flashcards for the final and then excuses himself to the bathroom. My friend and I pair up and head to the back of the lab where there's a walk-through office to the next lab and close the door behind us and move out of sight of the windowed doors, and I drop my shorts and undies and he squats down to take a look as I move my junk up and out of the way for a clear view. In walks the teacher because he wanted to grab his water bottle out of the office on his way back from the bathroom. I'm standing facing him and my friend is squatting in front of me, definitely looking like he's blowing me from the teacher's perspective. Teacher freezes and can't find words as I rush to cover myself and my friend turns around and blurts out, "I'm not sucking it, I'm just looking." Teacher backs out of the office and won't look either of us in the eye for the last week of school. Edited to add for everyone asking. It just turned out to be a boil. I managed to drain it later in the shower and it healed up fine. Senior year of high school, end of the year, and it's been balls hot for days and for some reason the AC isn't working. I have this pain in my taint and scrotum area and I'm complaining about it to my friend next to me in biology class. I really don't want to go tell the nurse or have a parent look at it, so I ask my friend if he'll take a peek. This was before everyone had a cell phone with a camera to do this sort of thing. He says, "Sure bro, I got you." The teacher tells us to split into pairs to quiz each other with flashcards for the final and then excuses himself to the bathroom. My friend and I pair up and head to the back of the lab where there's a walk-through office to the next lab and close the door behind us and move out of sight of the windowed doors, and I drop my shorts and undies and he squats down to take a look as I move my junk up and out of the way for a clear view. In walks the teacher because he wanted to grab his water bottle out of the office on his way back from the bathroom. I'm standing facing him and my friend is squatting in front of me, definitely looking like he's blowing me from the teacher's perspective. Teacher freezes and can't find words as I rush to cover myself, and my friend turns around and blurts out, "I'm not sucking it, I'm just looking." Teacher backs out of the office and won't look either of us in the eye for the last week of school. Edited to add for everyone asking. It just turned out to be a boil. I managed to drain it later in the shower and it healed up fine. Awesome. A fellow staring enthusiast. I have a couple of tricks I do in order to do this as well. One is to slightly move my focus back and forth, side to side or up and down, but not so much that it's very obvious I'm doing it. Another is that I don't know if my eyes are naturally watery or I can just wool my tear ducts, but I can keep my eyes hydrated just enough that they don't dry out while staring. Oddly enough, and sometimes it can be a bit disconcerting, but I'll get stuck where my brain just basically relaxes all of my muscles and I find it difficult to want to blink or do anything else. Kind of like being in a self-induced hypnosis. I also do this. I talk to myself alone in my bedroom sometimes and I'll just be conversating with myself, chill out, nobody is talking back to me, and I'm totally aware I'm alone, about a subject, and sometimes even when I halfway into what I'm trying to say my brain will just start thinking of something totally unrelated and I'll completely forget what I was talking about. It takes me a minute or two to stop, think, and come back to what I was originally saying. This doesn't ever happen to me in real conversations though, but I believe it's because those are back-to-back dialogues. If it's a non-stop rambling monologue with myself, then I tend to sometimes drift into La La Land time from time. Yes, I have had. I was diagnosed with it when I was in the 2nd grade, I was probably 7 or 8 years old. I haven't taken my meds since 5th grade. I honestly feel fine without them, but I graduated high school by the skin of my balls. Well, I guess I don't know about useless. I used to run 2 tills at once at work when I was a gas station clerk. But no one liked me doing it even though the tills were still accurate and never short. Until the manager started stealing money and writing us up for it. Or another cashier doesn't like working with you because you are doing your job better than they are and sabotage you by making your till short, and dude kept having me count the till with nothing wrong in the morning instead of having someone count the till down correctly at night. Was always attacking me for something I wasn't even assigned to. Oops. Sorry, a rant went on there. I guess according to Indeed I'm highly proficient in customer service. Edit. Holy hell, I think this is my first ever blown up liked comment on Reddit that's reached past 200 likes. Thanks all. Means a lot. Same for my husband, he played a discipline priest. We no longer play since last October, but whenever we did any kind of grouped content people would compliment him on his healing. It got to the point where he became a minor celebrity on our server, in the good sense, and some of our guildmates would jokingly / half seriously ask him to marry them. As for my useless superpower, remembering everything about WoW. Need a lore question answered? Sure. Can't find a quest? I can tell you where to start the chain and the name of the NPC. A transmog you saw and vaguely described it? I can point you to 3 different transmogs and their alternative colors from raid difficulties / PvP. Guildmates and friends have jokingly referred to me as a walking wowhead. Remembering things. I can recall anything I saw. Card number, people's faces, town I pulled in to fill gas, places I haven't visited in a while. I know London Tube like the back of my hand. I remember all the streets in Chicago, Loop and North Side. For example, I have had 4 different DL numbers since I first got my DL. Once got pulled over, didn't have my DL, Told the cop I remember my number, he thought I was being a smart ass, detained me, till he actually pulled the info to find I wasn't lying. FK that guy. I remember my dad's ID number. He was once just spoke it out loud and bam, now I know it. I used it once to access his bank via phone banking. I visited London in 2006 first time, was impressed with the tube, went there again for a friend's wedding in 2018. Took the train then tube from Heathrow to my friend's place. Didn't miss any stops. Pretty cool I guess, haha. I remember a lot of useless information, which I wanna delete, but I guess brains don't work like that. Cringe moments, sad moments, depressing times, failure moments. I remember it all so vividly. It becomes hard to ignore people too because you know them as acquaintances but you don't want to talk to them, but my body language becomes awkward since I'm avoiding them. Like this is the most useless power. Can't remember my own passwords though.